Welcome aboard Rocket Ship, the platform with the most relevant content for competitive examination. Once again, we'll take up a question that can be expected in General Studies Paper 1 of Civil Services Mains Examination. So let us begin with the question itself. It is in the area of culture that the most profound imprints of Bhakti movement are seen. Elaborate. So the paper asks you to explain the deep imprint that the Bhakti movement has left in the area of culture. So how do we begin our answer? See, we would suggest you that you start with a brief definition of the Bhakti movement itself. We know that the Bhakti movement is a stage in the evolution of Hindu religion, or rather even Indian religion itself. So when it's a stage in the evolution of something, so how it is an evolution over the past and what are its chief characteristics? Anyway, Bhakti movement, whose duration is 7th to 17th century, is evolution of the Hindu theology starting from Vedic ritualism and Upanishadic philosophical discussions. In the Bhakti period, we see a shift to devotionalism, that is complete capitulation to one's Ist Devta. So we know that the Vedic period was marked by ritualism. Various rituals were performed, for example, fire sacrifices, yagyas, and so on. In the next stage, during the period of the Upanishads, philosophical discussions, philosophical musings were made by Munis about the nature of reality, about the nature of the universe itself. And in the Bhakti stage, in the period of Bhakti movement, what we see is a shift to devotionalism. What it specifically means that the Bhakti movement says that a bhakt, a devotee, should completely surrender to one's tutelary deity, one's favorite deity, or the Ist Devta. So in this way, it is an evolution over the Vedic period as well as the Upanishadic period. We know that the Bhakti period influenced the Hindu society as a whole, but its imprints on culture are most profound. For something so wide in scope, it influenced many aspects of the Hindu society, of the Indian society, but in the area of culture, its imprints are specifically deep. As we can see, the adjoining graphic depicts some of the areas in which the Bhakti movement has left imprints on culture. We can start with the languages and script as well as the literature, which have deep impact of Bhakti movement. Then come performing arts like dances, dance drama, folk theatre, and so on. Then come fine arts like painting, music, etc. Then we have vernacular culture, that is part of the folk culture, where we have given the example of Warkari tradition of Maharashtra and Kabira's aphorisms. We know that Kabir Das is known for his aphorisms, or like pieces of pithy wisdom which are explained in 2 lines only. We will explain these terms later actually. Beginning with language and script, we know that the Bhakti sants adopted the local vernacular so that their message would be more accessible to the masses. When they spoke in the language of the masses were more likely to follow their chief message. The entire corpus of some literature of modern day languages like Marathi, Bangla, Punjabi, Asamiya or Aksomiya, etc. traces its origin to Bhakti works. We know that some of these languages have a long literary tradition. For example, Marathi, Bangla, Punjabi, Asamiya, etc. And in their cases, their entire present day literature can be traced back to the time of the Bhakti movement. Then we have given the specific example of Gurmukhi script, which was invented to record the works of Nanak and other gurus. We will take a pause here. Actually, you have a homework here. Please Google up the name of Srimant Shankar Dev as well as find the name of the Sikh Guru who standardized the Gurumukhi script. Anyway, coming to the performing arts, we have the example of dances like Satriya dance. The Satriya dance traces its origin to the philosophical work, to the bhakti work of Srimant Shankar Dev of Assam. Srimant Shankar Dev ji of Assam influenced this modern day Satriya dance, which is considered a classical dance originating in the state of Assam. Then come dance dramas like Manipuri. We know that Manipuri is a dance drama where episodes from the scriptures, for example the Puranas, are presented through the dances. So the Manipuri dance, its entire corpus actually, its performance repertoire is traced back to the work of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of Bengal. So these two dances, Satriya, which is a dance form of Assam, is traced back to the work of Shankar Dev, and Manipuri, which is a dance drama, is influenced by the work of Sri Chaitanya. Then we have the example of folk theatre like Ram Leela and Ras Leela, which you need not explain much. Ram Leela is influenced from the work of poets like Tulsidas and others, while Ras Leela is chiefly influenced by the work of Surdas, Narottam Das, and so on. Then come painting. We know that painting too was influenced by the Bhakti movement, and we can give the example of this specific style of painting, which is called Pichwai painting, which is practiced in Sri Nathdwara, which is a pilgrimage site in modern day Rajasthan. And the Pichwai painting, it is specifically practiced by the followers of Vallabhacharya, who was a Bhakti saint. So we can say that the Bhakti movement influenced even the art of painting. Then comes music. The entire corpus of the Trinity of Carnatic music is derived from the work of these three great saints: Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshitar, and Syama Sastri. So we can say that even music was influenced by the Bhakti movement, the Bhakti period, as we have given the example of Carnatic music, whose entire corpus, whose entire repertoire is actually sourced from the work of Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshitar, and Syama Sastri. Then comes vernacular culture. As we have already explained, that the vernacular culture is that part of culture which may not have its particular literature. It may not be part of the elite classes, but it is a part and parcel of the life of the folk, of the masses. And we have given these two examples: Varkari tradition of modern day Maharashtra, which originated in the work of Bhakti saints like Sant Gyaneshwar, Sant Namdev, Sant Eknath, Tukaram, and so on. What is the Varkari tradition actually? The Varkaris follow an ethico-moral lifestyle For example, they abstain from alcohol and vegetarian food, that is meat, and they also practice some ethico-moral code in their daily life. Then there is example of Kabira's aphorisms, Bhakt Kabir Das aphorisms, which are pieces of pithy wisdom which are explained in dohas or 2 lines of Hindi poetry actually. So these are the ways in which the Bhakti period has influenced the present day vernacular culture itself. If you had noticed in the very start, the question specifically asks about the profundity of the impact of the imprints of the Bhakti movement on the culture of India. What it specifically means that if it was just a superficial imprint, it was just a superficial influence, it would have been gone by now. It would have been wiped out by the passing of the time. But because it was a profound imprint, its influence can be seen to this day. So we will take a few lines to explain the profundity of the cultural imprints. As we have already shown you that the Bhakti movement influenced many areas of the culture of India, and as some of these are part of the living culture of India, that is, they are practiced as a part and parcel of the cultural life of India, they can be said to have a profound imprint. Also, not only Indian culture, some of these cultural practices are so important that they are considered part of the very intangible cultural heritage of India. Very part of the intangible cultural heritage of mankind itself. To give an example, Ram Leela was included in the list of intangible cultural heritage of mankind in the year 2008. So these are some of the ways in which we can say that the Bhakti movement has left profound imprint on the cultural life of India. This is all for today. We reassemble for the next question in a few days. Meanwhile, we would certainly advise you to do some question practice, revise your notes, and keep a track of the syllabus of the examination. We wish you all the best. Thank you.